All right, I think everything is fine. Welcome in. I hope you're good. I hope your Tuesday was good as always. If it's the end of the day for Wednesday, I hope your Wednesday was good as well. But welcome in. We have some good news, we have some bad news, and we have some news, which is in the middle. So we'll see how, when that happens, which is good, like the usual stuff. The bad news is bad, but not too bad. So I'm pretty happy with it nonetheless. Um, I need to plug that in so that we can go over some of the details. But yeah, no, overall we have some pretty cool thing. I have tried to fix the Google login thing on ban and it still doesn't work. Or at least let me re-explain that. I can't know. I still cannot know because the dev interface, the dev environment is working fine. There is no issues with it. I can log in and log out and do all the thing that needs to be done for the sign up and the sign in and everything with Google, which is really good. But then every time that I'm trying to do that somewhere else, as in production, it just doesn't work. So, and because I already have my account in production, it doesn't work necessarily as expected. So that's not necessarily what we want. But it's fine. It's gonna be fine. The other thing is I tried to improve a bit of the performance as well on this thing. It's fine, but it's the same. Like there is no real performance gain on ban, which is kind of sad. But the title of today's stream is related to ban entirely because you only have 2 days, today and tomorrow, before Bento is dead, and then you can't re-import your Bento grid to ban. So I guess hurry up. After that, it's not going to be an option unless Bento and Linktree are using Cloudflare, and that Cloudflare has cached data for profiles, and that from then we are able to use the cached data on Cloudflare for the extraction. But I doubt heavily that this is the case. So, yeah, 2 days. 2 days. The other news, which is debatable, but also fine, but debatable still, is on here. And if you're on YouTube on small version, I'm sorry, you can't see shit. It's working, but it's not working. So I've tried and I've been adding a new feature to the app, which I don't know if I want to keep. It's okay, but it's not really good, but it's okay. Which is when you are into the detail of a perfume, you can potentially see, I doubt it, it's tiny. In the center right here underneath the main button, there is a new thing called a skip recommendation. And that basically will push that perfume out of the recommendation array potential for the next X amount of days. So if it's a regular perfume, it's going to be for 15 to 30 days, randomly selected in the middle. So that's, it's never the same. And then if it's a perfume that is currently in a not for me situation, it's going to be for 60 to 80 days. So that you know that you don't like it and therefore it's just like far away. What obviously design wise it's shit. So I need to work on that. And work wise, I cannot know if it really works. That's the same thing as the other thing. I do not know, and I don't have a way to know if it really is removing that perfume from the potential, um, because the perfume doesn't necessarily get recommended every day. Like that's not the case. So it's kind of complicated to test. I guess the only option that I have would be to potentially get something like a test device with 3 perfumes in total, like one regular perfume in skipped, and one regular perfume in not for me, or one not for me perfume. I mean, technically a fourth one and a not for me in skipped to see the amount, but like 60 days. is a long time to just test something. So for now, we're here and we'll see if it works. The idea for this in terms of design is to probably have the button next to the main button. So it is like the add check-in right now, but you know, like that's a conditional thing. So it would be in other views. So if I'm like right here, for example, instead of having the start test and that's it, I would have the start test and skip for now button next to each other. That would make a lot more sense. Right now, I also added it in the menu, but it's really shit. It goes on two line right there. So that's not a good idea. But yeah, that's the feature in question. I tried to add and change some of the animations as well to make sure that the spray effect was working. It is working, but there is something that is not working, and I don't know why that's the case. So that's the same thing as usual. It's working fine on device, but it's not working fine in simulator. And in simulator, it's add like some sort of a flash when the perfume spray happened. So it is kind of complex to figure out when and where and how I can test that. So I'm gonna see. But for now, that's the thing. Other than that, I think that's overall everything that I've done on these features. The stuff is working. It is a bit. Oh no, I forgot that. I kind of figured out some of the crashes, kinda. So it's basically each of the images were supposed to be stored on disk and not in a blob in the database, but apparently it was doing both. It was saving the image on disk and in a blob, meaning that the database content was getting heavier and heavier and heavier because it was storing the images as well. So I kind of fixed that, I think, and moving everything and migrating everything to um, the on-device disk thing, but I don't know if that's going to work. It seems to be okay, as in testing on another device like the iPad, it's fine, but I can't know until I publish this. So we'll see when I publish if something happens. Um, but I doubt, lots of doubt, very much a lots of doubt. So that is the current situation. That is where we are. We have most of the things that are set up, which is good. Um, Band performance are good. We have 2 days left for Bento import to work, and then after that, I don't know what we'll do with band specifically, but that will probably allow us to reduce the package size in total because we will need not need but like we can remove the entirety of the importer, the entirety of the worker that is specific to the importer, and all of that would be like a very easy thing to just free up some space and then have some stuff in there. So that is the current situation. We are pretty good on there. There has been some things happening that I is all kind of pattern. How can I say that? Pattern worthy, and things that some people might be interested in. So here, for example, Tom is creating or has been talking about the fact that they have been creating things and tools for prototyping and testing. And so right now they are taking or creating some sort of a shader element that can be added to whatever and then export the code as a JSON extract, which is pretty interesting. And that is something that I'm seeing a lot of designers adding to their own day-to-day activities. So if you're a designer that is not using tools to generate the things that you are in need of to be relevant in this current climate of designers, well, you might drop lower than expected in relevancy. which is not really good, but it's what's probably happening. So this is a pattern. This is not the only one that is doing this. We know that Tom is doing that. We know that the people that are replying are doing that as well. So to be taken into consideration when you're building things for the future. But yeah, on the not so good news, the heart is not so good. It's been not so good for 2 to 3 days. Medicine doesn't do shit. So we'll see if that changes over the course of the next few days, but I have doubts. Um, and if I die, I die as usual. I don't care. But yeah, we'll see. It's painful in different parts compared to the usual pain. So we'll see if that's a different thing. I need to go do a scan and see if it works. But basically, the thing that triggered me getting a check was roughly around here, and now the pain is roughly around here. So we were in the center ventricle, whatever, of the heart, which was having an inflammation, and now it's kind of under. Um, so it's kind of different, and it might be just my ribs having some issues, which is fine. But yeah, for the past 2 to 3 days, it's been kind of pinky, not really picky, kind of, um, in situations that don't make a lot of sense. So that's a debatable point. We'll see if that's happening, if it changes, uh, and so on. But yeah, we have that. So that's a bit of a weird thing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. We'll see. On this one, though, we have some news on the transparency. We are now at 51 users. So the last 2 days of activities on TikTok have bringed us roughly 25 to 27 users, with one post at 50,000 views. So it's a bit of a sad thing, but I get it. But that's good. That's not so bad. Having more people is useful. As always, if you want to share that link and bring some people in, please do so. Be highly appreciated. But you're not supposed to. Depends on you. Um, but yeah, overall, that's very static. It works. I still have some issues. You could see that a second ago. The pages are loading sometimes with the content not being loaded as fast as it used to, and this is because of the implementation of the thing that Dapshi sent me into the performance implementation that basically needs to be much better, but it's still not as good. Like it, to me, it feels as if the whole content was refetched on every load instead of being cached in Cloudflare, which is supposed to happen. But yeah, there are like these things, these kind of flashes that I'm like, it's not as good. But overall, it's better than last time. As always, this is with the um, brain, with the Chrome extensions, so that's not as good as we want it to be. And here, for the preview or for the view of the profile itself, we are kind of good. It's not like it doesn't really matter, to be honest, but it's working and it's working fine. I think we are at like 60 something in performance, but it is like really good or pretty much better. This is taking a lot more time than expected. For once, that's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, that's not. You mean the page didn't paint content? That's a crazy. That's the first time I'm seeing Lighthouse having a bit of an issue with it. Um, I don't know what was not rolling at the same time, but something wasn't rolling at the same time. So yeah, yeah. So that's an okay score. It's much better. We were at 60 something. We're at 86 on this one, and the SEO is fine, pretty good in accessibility and best practices. So overall, pretty okay. Most of the things that are taking um, a delay is going to be the JavaScript. So that's kind of sad. Um, and then there is this payload stuff, which I don't understand. But it's like image related, apparently, which shouldn't be the case, but it is the case. So I don't know exactly how that works. Um, I will figure it out at some point, as I said, but that's like not something that makes any sense to me. So we'll see in the future. But like so far, that's a pretty good performance enhancement compared to last week. Um, I think, I think. So, you know, that's a thing. That is a thing. Overall, that's pretty. Why did I close that door? Overall, that's a pretty good run in terms of performance. We have like more stuff to do on there, and I have a feeling that there is some microcopy marketing related stuff that needs to change in the landing page. Probably having some additional details when it comes to like the payment and economics of what we have, because it is the thing that we talk the most about on stream, at least. That's what makes sense. It is, however, what I received the most pushback on when we launched. I mean, not launched, but like when I talked about it for the first time and I posted, I think here, when I posted this thing, a lot of people, specifically on threads, not here, have been like talking about stuff and saying that this is confusing and not really interesting from a user point of view, which is why that disappeared. Which I I feel like this is pretty good nonetheless, but you know, it depends on the person, and I get it. Um, but yeah, like that's a part of the issue that I have here, where some of the things might not make sense. Like for example, here, the more of you being highlighted and the less you pay being not as highlighted as you need to be, or as it needs to be, is kind of weird. I feel like the fact that you pay less is something that I need to highlight, but then it's also like the more of you, the less you pay. The entire thing is useful, but I did that for remaining um, like on the same design style for the rest of the page. So, highlight at the top, different colors at the bottom, and so on. So maybe the less you pay could be in green. But then the issue that I have with that is that if we use the emerald on this, it's kind of a lot of green around here compared to other places. So that's a debatable point. Again, we'll see when that happens, if that happens. Um, it's a very simple thing to change, so we might just do that. And then for the authentication thing, as I said, it's just not worth the thing. Nothing really make any sense, and the planning with the analysis just doesn't make any sense either. So that's a bit of a weird thing. I don't really know um, what's happening, why it's happening, or why it's not happening technically. So yeah, that's a bit of a weird thing. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll figure it out at some point. That will be figured out. But yeah, overall, I think that's the news. We don't have anything else. The financial website from Monday, I haven't touched it, so I don't have anything to to showcase, I can potentially say, um, like that thing, because I'm using the European bills for all of the color scheme. I have a feeling that based on the current trends when it comes to financial, but also websites in general, to have like the ASCII dithering effect for the illustration, we could um, use um, the illustrations that are already on the bills themselves, like the original official um, content, could be something that we use as a starting point, um, specifically like the official kind of how do you pronounce that, gravure in English as well, illustration things that are in there as a base to have like these cathedral uh, bridges and so on. Bitch, that's in German. Do you think I can read that? I know some of you are German, so But yeah, like these illustration would be potentially something that is interesting to add back inside of the website because it's part of the bills, but also it's part of the whole system money thing specifically for Europe, and because that person specifically, I said specifically way too much, or targets mostly French and European people, that would make a lot of sense. So that is the potential plan that I have. I don't know exactly if that's gonna happen. I just know that it might. It might happen. I might just reuse that and see if I can either find good scans of the bills themselves or scan them myself, but like that's a bit more complex um, to achieve. Something that I don't think we talked about before. Most of the, and you probably know that, by the way, most of the bills, any bills for most currencies have some sort of a QR code-ish things in there. Delvin, welcome on in. How are you? How's the day going? That have a thing that disable printer and scanners to be able to basically scan the things for reproduction. And if you are doing um, like just a scan, you would end up with the specimen type of thing on top, like not automatically, but like kind of automatically. So that's an interesting thing. But yeah, like these are the illustration that I'm thinking about potentially integrating inside of the system. Like this is working because it was a picture taken and not a scan. Like this is a scan and therefore it just gives us something else, which is interesting. This is the I think it's these bars or the dots. I think that's these circles and dots are the QR code thingy that is disabling some of the printer scanners and stuff. So yeah, that's nice. That's what I was looking for. Specifically that. But yeah, like that's the potential illustration to add inside of the background instead of the elements, the sections, maybe somewhere around here in the background could be really cool. Um, but not having it like everywhere is a pretty good idea as well. Something that is subtle and just an addition, an illustration addition. But yeah, we'll see if that happens. For now, it's just not on the menu for today. Not there yet. Not there yet. But yeah, like overall, I feel like that um that the less you pay needs to be highlighted. Um that is wild as a first message. So no. Walk on in. But that's wild. That's not. That's not a good thing. Don't don't do that. Do not do that. Um, we have what the fuck is this thing? We have in the base in our landing page. Technically, yeah, it's in the pricing section, which that's a wild thing to do, but I get it. So that's the thing. The text muted is the class that I currently have, but it's not necessarily what we want. We might want to use the I guess it's gonna be in the arrow. But that's just the action, so that's the thing that's not gonna work. Huh. Ha ha ha. Mm-hmm. So the bento import section doesn't exist anymore, so that's just not an option. If only I knew how this thing was organized, it would help. Let's just do that. In the let me just add the pricing section. I think we should use the emerald color instead of muted text. I guess that's gonna work since we already have the class for that, and I just forgot the name of the class. It should be easy, but we never know. Also, small detail from the people that are using Opus specifically on a daily basis on Cursor and so on, it is starting to get dumber and dumber already. So it's been a week, as always. Really good on the first week, really good on the second week, and then it starts to get a decline. So what I've noticed is that Opus 4.6 has been starting to get recurring things that are just really bad. As in, it's going into loops of thinking that just makes no sense. So yeah, that like that. Like all of that makes absolutely no sense. However, I know that this is exactly what I need, and I'm just gonna do that instead, and it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Hugo, hi. Welcome in. How are you? How's the day going? How is everything? Yeah, that's the thing in question. Do we have something? No, we good. Cool. Are you gonna make it? No. No, that's not a I'm dropping in and lending type of day. I'm sorry. So that is fine. It's not the best, but it's fine. It doesn't look as highlighted as this, which I think is the 600. So I'm gonna try to use either my 400 or my 500 to see. No, that's it's a new product that I'm using on my hair, and it looks like I have wet hair. Yeah. It's one of the K18 products, and they have as always, I know the fucking packaging. It's the yellow one, which I'm probably not gonna find, but it's one of these things which is an oil which makes my hair looks oily, which is really bad. It's also extremely expensive. for what it is. Like, goddamn. But it's pretty good the next day. Basically, what it does, because it's a repair oil, the first day I look like this, which is not as good, but it's fine. It's also making my curl much better. Oh my God. Uh, but it's like saturating my hair. And then on the next day, when all my hair has drank the entirety of the oil, it is way better. So that's a very interesting thing. It's not necessarily for my type of hair, obviously. Like that's not that's not me. I don't have that, but it works pretty well. So we do like it, and I have a ton of shit from them because it's good. Like I have this one that I'm using um, on a weekly basis. I have used this as well from the past. I had that a long time ago. This is the current one that I'm testing. And these ones are things that I wanted to have dry shampoo for the days where I have like kind of oily hair. But yeah, it's interesting. Nonetheless, um, we like K18. It's just too expensive. It is just too expensive, but it's gonna be fine. The thing that I have like here is I don't know if that's not too much green. Like that feels too much. Um, yeah, that feels too much is a pretty accurate representation of what I have in mind. It's not too much, but it's like three elements that basically try to compete for your attention when you should only have uh, maybe two. Like the less you pay and the 50 cent would be the two that you want people to see. But then if I'm putting this as a pure white thing, we end up with also a law of attraction because it's a solid element. So that's the thing that I'm like, I don't know. That's a to be checked and to be experimented with situation. Just because you know, just because it makes sense. The pricing timeline is the thing that we want, and that is that current progress needs to change automatically rather than being stuck in, but that's fine. We know that that's our bubble. I don't know. uh, I forgot the name of these things. I forgot if it's gray 100 or if it's something else. Nonetheless, it doesn't really matter. Maybe the badge itself can stay emerald for the entire thing, and then the progress bar can be white. But then that's the same thing. It will still feel like it's too much, at least for me. So yeah. It's okay. It's a simple thing. Um, let's see. Let's see. In the hero section, we have a subtle dotted grid background element. I feel like it should be a tad more visible. I'm asking here because I don't know where the fuck it is. And I want to know where the fuck it is. So I need this thing to go through the files and find the hero section, the hero um, cards itself, which seems to be the hero CSX things, but I don't know where it is. So that's there. By the way, the the thing that is kind of interesting, I guess, is that texture that you can't really see when I'm like here. The only reason why I discovered that I had this in the background is because I was filming my screen, and at full brightness, these things from the phone camera perspective are way brighter. So yeah, now it's a bit of a teeny tiny tad thing. So that's good. Where is that? That's in my global CSS. My radio gradient is currently at 13% to 25%. So that's the transition. I see. Um, cool. Hmm. It's interestingly made, but yeah, it's fine. And we're using the RGB values instead of using uh, our emerald values. I feel like it would make more sense. Sorry for the flashbang on this one. Yeah. Uh, I feel like we should use the emerald color variable instead here. So that would be somewhere along the line of the emerald 800, emerald 900-ish, based on where we are. Or maybe having it like a emerald 500 and then with the transparency of 13% right there, for example, help with the readability. So yeah. Also, Hugo, how's your day going? How was your Friday? Your Friday. How was your Tuesday? I asked in my head, and I was in the fucking file ready. So yeah, I was stuck. I was stuck. Um, I don't know if that's gonna work. That's the thing. Hmm. So it's a mix on OKLCH, which we've been trying to have. So that's good. Um, since this is the global CSS, I have a feeling that we have other part of it which are using um, RGB related thing, which we might need to just reorganize and ensure that we're using the proper colors. But like so far, that's pretty good. That's also helping me because that way I can have, like, I can see that this is 25% in dark mode and 13% in light mode. So I could bump that to like 20% in the light mode version, and probably something like 32 in here, so that we have something that is a bit more visible overall, that presents the grid and make more sense. And same thing right there would be potentially a bit more visible, but it's still like not as visible as I want it to be. So maybe we can have something like a 40% in light mode. Uh, I mean, technically, from what I can see, it could be even darker than this. Can you see that on stream? I doubt it. Yeah. I feel like even a 60% would be way too much. But it is more visible. And it is too visible, I think. I think 40% is going to be fine enough to be noticeable if you pay attention, but if you don't, it's going to be fine. And it's such a small detail in the background that we should be okay. And light mode is good, dark mode is fine. Since this is going to be using the system-based color for most people, then we have that overall thing that's pretty nice. So I feel like that's a good thing. Let's keep these two that we use the proper color, the proper variable, the proper thing, and then moving on. So that's good. The other thing that I had a bit of a questioning on is this section. We have created a type of card that is the temporary template cards, so that we have something, but technically speaking, these cards can't really exist, or at least in most cases, they don't really exist. So, I don't know. I don't know. What I don't like is the fact that the font sizes are not necessarily the same depending on the card sizes, which it makes sense, but also it doesn't. And it might be a bit too far away from the initial card types. So, yeah, that's an I don't know situation. Meh. So that's great. In the header and footer, the square with the B in it, and we need to move the B a tad to the left, just a smidge. In order for it to appear centered, because that is pissing me off since it popped in. The fact that it's like centered but not centered. It is technically centered, but because it is italic, it just doesn't go through. And yeah, it needs to be cut. It's the same thing at the top by nothing, but yeah, that's better. That's better. Cool. Did that go through everything? Yes. Cool. That's nice. Do we have something that changes in the other? No. So it need to be changed in all pages, or more importantly, we should create a header component. I mean, not really. We can't really have a header component when it comes to this thing. No. Like we should. The sub of the landing. To see. God dang, that hurts. I have noticed something that is really bad as well when it comes to my stress level and my health related stuff. When I eat, things don't work. As in, if I ate something that is a bit too big, I'm then in pain and in vitals not being good for the day, which is kind of sad. I wish I could eat, but apparently I can't. starting to get allergic to food. No. Um, but yeah, like that's a thing that could happen. The other thing that I'm seeing that I don't like is the fact that this one is a very square with very strong corner radius right there, and this one is a very square with very sharp corner radius. So the consistency in between the two is really not good, and yeah, it needs to happen. It needs to change, but yeah, I also doubt that the editor is gonna be good and centered. That's like the component that we need. And on the notes of Monday, the discussion that we had on Monday, we now have this. So when you are loading your profile, when someone is loading your profile, you will see the profile picture of the user as the favicon directly. So that is a direct copy of what Bento is doing when it comes to the profile picture is going to use the user profile. The only difference is that they are using like very, very sharp images, and I decided to not do that. But yeah, that's a small addition. I think that's pretty good. I think when I say profile, it triggers or profile picture. Something is just not triggers the fog counter, which is weird. But yeah, no, nonetheless. That is where we are. That seems not centered in the slightest. I need to check these to make sure that we have the updates properly. It's gonna be bad, nonetheless. At least it's replacing something with a header, so it's a good placement. I feel like we need to align the landing page header, and I talked about that last time. The landing page header with the sub landing page headers as well as the editor, but the editor doesn't really requires it. So that's the thing that needs to be tackled as well. The footer is something that needs to access and exist as a secondary option. Sorry. This is because it's still not done. That's the reason. And we should be fine, but also the band logo thing means that at least that is something that is new, so that's a good thing. I can have like a band logo situation, which is a very specific type of content, and then I can reuse that wherever, meaning that from there I can also create a proper logo at some point and use that instead. So that is good, but that's gonna take a while. I have a feeling that this is gonna take a while. I'm probably gonna change that to not use all of this, but to use an SVG instead at some point. Because we are using, as far as I remember, we are using the Playfair. I think we're using Playfair as a regular thing plus the italicized version of it right now, at least. So that's a potential. Yeah, I might work on that at some point. I don't know. I don't know. We will see. So band logo has been created, subheader, subpages header, some pages footer has been created. That is changed when it comes to the markups. which is good. And then the editor and the dashboard are two different things. The dashboard doesn't really exist, but it still is there. So we'll see if that has been fixed. That is not. The usual. This is the usual behavior. Usual stuff. Is it just the fucking terms pages that doesn't work, or is it all of them? No, it's all of them. Um, oh, oh my god, that hurts. Cool. That's the same placement, same thing. I think we're pretty good. I'm just gonna check because I feel like I'm making a mistake. Yeah, it is the playfair display font by default. Interesting. Interesting. That makes no sense whatsoever. Yeah, that was a wild, weird thing on this. Transparency is probably gonna work as well. Yeah. My brain is working, is going into the maybe we should have the same header, uh, not regardless, but like wherever, so that we have everything. Why? Hmm. Hmm. Maybe. At least having like one file for the button. The issue that I have is just this fucking space on the sides. That is pissing me off because when you are looking from here and then you go there, that doesn't compute. So yeah, I unsure about that. I'm unsure about that. So we'll keep that. If we look at the landing page, the header has a max width on its content, I guess. And we should probably have it on the sub pages header too, just for consistency. The fact we talked about that, the fact that the header in the editor is a bit like wider doesn't really bother me that much. Kind of does, but not really. But you know, um, yeah. So that's a match, but also the distance in between the two things is not, it's not the same. Oh my god, that's so bad. That is so bad. So that's my band logo and band thing. We have a gap of 2 right here, and I'm guessing this is probably gonna need a gap of 3 because this is probably a gap of 3. Yeah, that easy. All right, cool. I mean, the gap of 2 was pretty fine, but that's an okay thing. And so here, I go back there, and that's our current element. We have the V right here, which is the thing that we want, and then we need the div itself, which I would have loved to change that. So in large, we have a rounded XL, which I don't think is a good idea. I feel like if I do rounded here and rounded LG here, mm, that's too square. Okay, I see. That's too much. I guess the XL is the issue. Um, XL is going to be very much like fully rounded, so it's not going to be good. And because I forgot uh, like that value, I don't know exactly what the property is. Like medium is going to be bad. I also don't know where we have this though. That's the... Oh my god, Stony, hi, welcome in. How's the day going? Still not a dev. Specifically not today. Oh my god. Specifically not this week. Everything has been broken and broken and broken. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. And it's how it is because of my dumbass. Basically here, in the typos and status change, I had to do some changes on a lot of things related to just not being a dumbass and writing the year as a string so that it is like a proper rendering of the year, because otherwise it was rendering, and we talked about that, it was doing the 2005, for example, like this, instead of what it should have been, which is this, because it just recognized a string of characters as it's just a number. So I had to go do that with all of these, making sure that, you know, proper one day, days, so on. Yeah, I mean, there is something that is kind of weird because it's supposed to be, uh, that's probably a me issue and the implementation issue where it it recognized the thing as a text string, but not recognize it as a date text string. And so that's some of the issues that happen. So when I did all that, I basically broke something when it comes to the spray effect and the content view and so on. And so I had to like avert a ton of shit to just re-ensure that everything that I've done was pretty good and so on. And then that was broken as well. And right now I'm still unsure. I'm this close to just revert and revert, but that's gonna be very, very bad. So the day has been shit. Other than that, we good. Other than that, everything is fine. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I'm working mostly on the landing page today. Ah, because it's kind of bad. It needs work. And yeah, I still don't like it. Like there's still all stuff that just don't make a lot of sense. As I just mentioned, that's a start. I think I think I did that. I forgot if I published it. I did. I did publish it. So now this happens. So if you have a profile picture, you will have like a proper favicon based on your profile picture. Same thing here, instead of the regular goldish red colored bee. Which, if you didn't know, if we good, we are good. It's just broken. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Holy shit. I wish. I wish it made sense. Nonetheless, that's the thing. So I made a bee that looked like the bread, without making it too much bread. But yeah, I think the best option would be to have these cuts for the bee openings. That would make a lot more sense, and not just like the rest. But for now, we have this, and that's fine. And technically speaking, I should use Playfair Display on this as well, so that it's just like more centered and such. But you know, small details. At some point, maybe I will change. I mean, at some point, I will do like a proper logo design thing. But for now, I don't care. I don't care. But yeah, that's a bit of a new thing. We have 51 user now. Still one paying, not more. So that's something. And then that's neat. That's good to know. That took a while. That took a while. Yeah. Yeah, I still don't know. I still don't know. There is something in the payment section that just doesn't make any sense for me. Specifically when you're loading the page and you're arriving here, it's like, this is fine, but then the relationship with this section underneath, which is basically linked to it because it's price related, doesn't really work. There's something about it that is missing, and I don't know what it is. That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know. Oh my god. Not that. Why is tab not tabbing anymore? Yeah. Dots kind of make sense on this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. But that's good enough of a change, at least for now. So let's just push that. That's probably gonna break. Not even. Crazy. Crazy. that's wild. That's the reason? Maybe. Maybe that's the reason. We'll see when that's pushed. That's pretty good. The Again, we have 2 more days to do the import, and then after that we're good. So we'll see what we can do with it. Um, I need to pee. Give me a sec. Anyways, I don't know exactly what else we can. Yeah, that is a that is a wild amount of crashes for one day. That I don't know if the stream is going to sustain itself for long enough today. That's crazy. Um, that is not supposed to happen, and I don't know why that's happening today specifically. Uh, nothing, nothing specific. Let me just do that just in case, even though I don't think that's going to change anything. But we never know. We never know, and I need to keep that. Yeah, that's wild. That is a wild amount of crashes. Even though they are not like direct crashes, that's a wild amount of crashes. So, yeah. Cool. That has landed. That's good. Yeah, I feel like that's fine. But that's it. It's just, it's fine. See, that's one of the thing as well. The terms and services doesn't have any visual cues things at the top. And then the privacy section doesn't either. The sustainability has this kind of glow element at the top that might benefit from having the dotted grid right here, but that's like a debatable point. And then when we go into the transparency section, it's we don't have anything at the top. So I feel like there is a consistency issue when it comes to what we can showcase and so on. And then the contact section could also get that thing. Currently, none of these pages have any effect at the top. So just removing the one from sustainability is the easier move, but it also one of the thing that makes the page look more interesting, even if it's like such a small detail. So, like that's the thing that I might do. I don't know. I doubt it. But it's a might. Um, yeah, it's a might thing. So I feel like that would make sense. So looking, that's also kind of wild. Looking at the sustainability page, it is the only one with uh, top section background effect, I guess. And we could port that to the other subpages. Consistency's sake. Ah! I guess that could work, but it's just like an unpractical thing. It isn't practical. That's probably the reason. That's probably true. Yes. Again, I blame the construction work outside that is currently doing some construction work on the telecoms lines, which, you know, might break, might not break. That's the thing. So terms, privacy, sustainability, transparency, and contact. Now they all have this header thing. Kinda. Kira, welcome on in. How are you? How have you been? How's everything? Kinda not really, to be honest. I have been disappointed and surprised at the same time. So surprised because I'm supposed to be in the limited amount right now. I'm supposed to be in a tier where I can't use it, so it's surprised that I can use it roughly for free. My billing doesn't have changed, so I'm pretty happy with that as always. But also, it has become an annoyance when it comes to its reasoning overall. Because yeah, it's really wild. It is really wild, but that's also a really good question from Sony. How's the recovery? Not from the MMO, but just like from the surgeries and so on. Last time you were basically on bed rest-ish. So, how's everything? But yeah, no, overall, it's taking like there have been time with 4.6 where it just goes into this loop of but wait, but wait, the user said that, but wait, looking at the code, this is the thing, but wait, the user said that, but wait, the it's just so weird. So I don't I don't know. Other than that, it's a good model, but it's a pain in the ass. Um, so yeah, that's a pretty good thing. I feel like the fact that the header is like not transparent, not fully transparent, at least in when the scroll hasn't happened, is a bit of a weird thing. Like we should have at least that, or at least this, um, for transparency's sake and so on. But I get it. It's just a small addition. A very small addition. Oh my god. I just saw something. Shit. Um, that's so bad. That is good news. That is good news. Um, that is nice. I am dying more than usual, but yeah, it's good news for you. Uh, Um, yeah, so the thing that I just noticed, sorry, the back home button, which is the same thing as the fucking logo on the side, in the transparency section, is the only one that takes a fucking icon. The other one doesn't. Chris, welcome on in. How are you? How's the day going? Does that trigger the thing? I don't think it does. That's interesting. Um, Looking at the headers of the subpages, the transparency header is the only one where the back home button takes an icon, but overall, the back home buttons serves no purpose. And we should probably place the sign in get started. Get started, or oh my god, I don't know. Go to editor, buttons in there? Question mark? Yeah. Yeah, skills.sh is a pretty nice one. I just don't like the fact that it's Vercel behind it, even though, you know, you can't really escape it. It's pretty good. It doesn't really matter. I do have the skill right there for the design thing that we talked about like a long time ago now. Um, but yeah, at the end of the day, it's just like, uh, don't fuck it up. Like, it's just, it's that easy, and that's the skills that you need to have. It's just like, well, we know that you have the skill, as in, as you yourself, Claude, just do that. The best option for the skills.md, for me at least, is to make it as vague as possible when it comes to the model that I'm talking to, so that if I'm using GPT at some point, if I'm using Kimi at some point, it's kind of the same thing, and it will work, and it will be fine, regardless, and it's gonna be a good option. You know, that's the idea, bitch. Holy fuck. I'm just gonna drop this one because I'm guessing the second one is the fucking same, and the others are the same as well. Yeah. Uh, God. Oh, I want to kill people when it comes to this. See, that's one of the things that Claude 4.6 was supposed to be uh, giving us, right? We were supposed to have things where Claude was intelligent enough to go through the pages that had been updated and fix the thing that is broken when it's broken, specifically when the fucking terminal is telling you that there is an error. But no, god damn. Also, creating a layout again is a bad idea because we already have 3 of these. Uh, all right, cool, good enough. I'm so tired of this. I, I can't. Uh, um, Going back to the discussion that we had last week, I do agree that it would be interesting for me to let the user decide if they can change their slugs and their usernames after the fact. And so the current thing that I'm thinking about is letting you click on the slug right here, either directly, or if you click on it, it goes into your dashboard, and then I'm getting like a proper dashboard thing where it contains all of the page settings and so on. But that's a bit of a more complex things, mainly because right now the settings don't exist. Um, yeah. At this instant, we don't really have a way for you to delete your account, uh, request your data, even though I said that you can. Sorry. Mostly like send us an email and we'll see what we can do, type of situation. But yeah, the account deletion is not something that I have added, so that's something that I would probably get into the dashboard section of the platform that we could either call dashboard and or settings. I don't know, it depends. Um, but yeah, I have no clue right now. I don't know. Nonetheless, it doesn't really matter. That's where we are so far, and I feel like that's a fine enough thing. Let me log out and see. That logged out is working. We're good with that. Bruce, welcome in. How are you? Let me see if I can sign in from here. Yes, I can. God damn it, that's the wrong thing. And I'm logged in the right place at the right time. We should be good. Yeah. Yeah. For the new, I mean the new users, the new brain, just cooperate, please. The new cursor thing that comes on the view, yeah. Holy shit. I don't think I have like a specific view where it makes sense, but this one is the potential best option. If I'm here, you will notice that a lot more. Um, where also, Stony, I see that I missed the baguette. 100%. Goddamn. So we're gonna have to do the baguette right now when I'm explaining the thing. Yes, of course. If you look closely in the background of the color background right there, it is uh, it is very much reacting to what the people are saying. So if I say this, for example, there is my green that is gonna pop up, and at the same time, the blue of stream element that takes on the background as well. So you get something that is a bit more interactive based on everything that is happening in the chat. You know, so that's a very interesting thing. I like it. I like the effect. I think it's a cute effect. Hmm. It is a very cute effect. Ah, but this is cool. This is working, this is not working, but that's fine. And because I missed the French, I am sorry. I will do 2 minutes of French, Stony. My apologies for the delay of 8 minutes delay. I was probably taking a shit when you redeem the French. That is the reason. That is usually the reason. So this is probably good. Probably good. probably a good idea overall. I feel like this is also something that is pissing me off, where these two, the lines of the dots are not aligned, either underneath or above or in the center of the line. That makes no sense. That is making no sense whatsoever. So here we are. Here we are. Anyways, finally, stop the fucking French. But yeah, no, that's a thing. Uh, what, Bruce? What are you talking about? It is one of the redemptions on the channel, which is kind of sad, but some people like it, so we have to. We have to. Oh my god, that hurts. Oh. Hmm. Yeah. Ah. I feel like this is fine overall. Jerome, welcome on in. Welcome on in. I feel like this is fine. Probably fine. Go back there. Maybe refresh that from right here. Texture is good in the background. So far, no one landed today, so you might be not landing as well, which you didn't. That's good enough. No. Fuck. Wrong timing. Wrong timing. You might miss it. No, you didn't. Congrats. Congrats. I thought you were about to miss it. Damn, that was close. I just saw that for a split second. Yes. This looks like shit, but I don't have a choice. This is fine. And then that is okay. It's kind of shit, but it's okay. Privacy is fine. It's going to be the same thing. I didn't check the transparency page on mobile, to be honest. Yeah, that's what I thought would happen. Oh my god. Oh. Only 2 days left before Bento dies. And so if you have a Bento account and you haven't transferred to ban yet, well, you have basically 2 days to be able to import your Bento grid. But that's not your case. You're already done. So, yeah. We good. We are good. That is something that I hate. I've been hating that since the beginning. And so we're gonna need to change that. But, you know, small changes, small things. And that works as well. Yeah. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. It would be okay. I still haven't checked that. That's true. That is true. So, in transparency, let's keep all that. Now, in the transparency page for the total user, total paying users, total users and paying users, cards, we want to make the top right badges. No, elements. Yeah, elements as proper badges. slash bill with a bit of padding and so on. We'll see how it figure that out. But yeah, the goal is to basically have that on the same line or just a bit inset, not like that. That looks kind of like shit because of the sharp, 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 and then rounded. So just moving it in would be a pretty good option. Like that, yeah, that makes sense. But then the fact that both of these are saying daily update makes absolutely no sense, which, you know, it happens. Now the issue that I have with this is the fucking alignment that just isn't aligned. So what just happened here? I was too fast. I see. I see. Let me just align that. How's the day going, Jerome? How is everything? Yeah, so date. Okay. Okay. If I align this properly, this is going to be 32. So if I'm adding a 32 by 32 corner element as my usual thing, oh, that's so bad. That is bad. That's almost good. Sorry. It's not good at all, but it's almost as if it was good. Like that's basically what needs to happen. And then if I place it properly, which I'm not gonna be able to do, not now. That's the alignment that we are expecting, kinda 1-1 roughly. It's gonna be a bit better potentially. I see things I'm not supposed to see. It's fine. Yeah, that could 32 by 32, but that's still not centered. It will look really off-centered and off-putting. So that's not really nice. Don't like that. And I don't want to do this instead, because that misaligned the top, but it's also kind of fine, to be honest. I should be off-putting. Yes, I should. I agree. The issue that I have here is the fact that if this was the case, and let's say I'm just gonna sharpen this whole thing, make it exactly the pill size so that I can organize stuff properly. If I were to do the 32 on the side and probably 40 something, 42 on the top and so on, it's going to be roughly like weirdly aligned, specifically 544 off the top. It would be better to be somewhere around here, in which case it's now kind of weird. A lot more than, in terms of alignment, than what I had in mind. So that's annoying. By the way, are you okay with me taking a look at your screenshots on stream, or do you want to wait when you have something that is a bit better? Because I have some stuff that I can potentially tell you here and there, you know. Why are you not deleting yourself when I'm selecting you? Dang. That makes no sense. Makes no sense. Um, so yeah, that alignment, I don't know. It would give us a 40-40 situation so that it's technically aligned with the icon. Um, Basically, I like what you've done when it comes to the rendering of this. I really like the color scheme so far. The simplicity of how that kind of pale sage color is coming through is really nice. And specifically for the first one, the first screen that you sent, right here, that's a very cute action button. I'm guessing you probably have added some sort of a, I'm guessing, I don't know, but there is probably a bit of an animation with each of them, like starting from the fabric, the floating action button and then sliding out. So that's really cool. Um, but yeah, no, overall, the thing that I have a bit of an issue with is this section, mainly because of the stack at the top where you have your corner radius at the top and bottom be bigger than the center one, and that is probably because of the concentric corner radius, but it's kind of weird. Yeah, and then obviously the emojis, but like that is for later. Um, but yeah, overall, good job. Even though, as we've said many times, it is extremely um, default and system based. It works, and that's what we want. We want this to be the first draft, so that you can then add more stuff and make sure that it is more aligned with what you want to have. So most important thing for me is just making sure that it works, and then polishing when it comes to the design, but also the behaviors. For example, here, I would rather you ensure that these things can always be on one line and not two, so that both of these things have the same height, the same sizes, the same whatever, or making them both exactly two lines, so that it makes sense. So that's a thing. If we go back to, I would say can first of its name would be a pretty good representation of that. Um, like shit like this, which is basically the same thing, right? Where you can go in one direction or the other. Um, that is the type of interface that you might want to have. But yeah, um, when it comes to you getting inspired, sadly you don't have access to it anymore, and I wish that wasn't the case. But the not this one. Um, Not this one. This one is very similar. Dot is very similar to what you're trying to build. It's a bit of a journaling app that was really good. The issue that it shut down, so there is still a market for that. Highly recommend you take a look at it for references and for design wise, how these things have been working and so on. I love this transition right there of transitioning from the current discussion to all the discussions just by pinching the screen. That has been such an interesting thing. But also, I know how annoying this was to create. But like for reference, for inspiration, at least, uh, for all of your journaling sessions and so on, this is a pretty interesting thing. It was really good and it didn't work out for many reasons. But one of the main reason, I don't know if this is still alive, by the way. I mean, it's now a new computer, so there is a ton of new stuff in there that are going to be uh, changing. But yeah, nonetheless, they have done a ton of things and they have had added. Huh, they removed it. Oh my god, it pissed me off. I hate that. The reason why they kind of shut down is because this thing was running AI on the background all the time. So one of the good thing about Dot in general was just the ability, if you enabled the notification, you would receive a notification when the AI was contacting you. And so it was like a proactive assistant kind of thing. So there are times where it just sent me a message and saying, based on the thing that we talked about in the past few days, I noticed that near you there is a new exhibitions for like a painter, I think, or photographer, I forgot, that is just happening this Friday. I think that could be a very cool thing for you to go check. And that's really interesting, or that was really interesting when it came out. And now it makes sense, but like that's the fact that it was running in the background, making sure they checked activities, events, and stuff was costing a ton. So yeah, but yeah, for reference, this is going to be good. If you want to look at the interface itself, I feel like that website, specifically the one that I shared, is fine and pretty good. Looking for the .ai app on uh, on Pinterest, you will find some of the screenshots here and there, but most of them are now buried all around, and it's kind of complex and hard to find. But there is like some of them that are still in there, and some of them are the initial first rendering that Jason has created. So you have like a bit of a peek inside the first draft that they had. So that's a really, I mean, for me, that's a really cool thing. Um, but yeah, so maybe check that out if you are interested. Um, and then do that since you want an AI help. Do that. Use the Apple Intelligence content as much as possible. Nonetheless, it's fun. It is fun. The other thing that I've done, um, and that might be a bit more complex, specifically because you are just starting, but you have way more knowledge than me. So I don't know. It depends. Um, Going there and going into the Hugging Face models that are available that you can download and run on device is probably going to be something that you will need to take a look at. So that um, basically has the ability to give you something that is at the level, if not better, of some of the big models. Like Quen is one of them that we talk about all the time, and it is something that is easily implementable inside of an app like an iOS app, but also that means that it's also implementable on an Android phone as well. It is a bit of a heavy file. You will have something that takes like 600 megs, 700 megs that needs to be downloaded from the cloud when you are launching the app for the first time. But then it's on your phone and it works on your phone forever, private, and so on. And there is no like rebouncing of whatever. And it will be free as well. So, eh, eh. This one is a text-to-speech one, so that's going to be a bit more heavier because it needs to, well, create the sounds. But yeah, there are plenty of options. Um, But yeah, that's a thing that is interesting as well. And that last message, not this one, the one just before, is exactly what you want. You want an app that that works for you because the rest doesn't work for you, and that is the thriving force of apps getting good. Because it's just, well, I have that issue because of the rest of the apps don't do the thing that I want, and you're not the only one thinking about that. So yeah. Um, yeah, no, the Apple one is kind of shit for now. Um, and it doesn't really give you all the power of ChatGPT and so on that you probably potentially have in mind. Like for example, the GPT Open. Um, if we just take the 20B, the OSS, it's basically ChatGPT slimmed down that you can run on your device for free. So as always, me being me, free is pretty good. Free, yeah, free is pretty good. We like free. But then again, these things are massive and will take like a lot of space on the devices, and some devices may have some issues with the implementations and so on. But that's an interesting thing nonetheless. And so there are already a ton of GitHub projects that exist that are implementing these Hugging Face models. And yeah, if it's only yours, then you're good. If you have one of the pro models, you should be fine. But yeah, that's one of the things that you can take a look at. Highly recommend to just use the Apple one because it's going to be the most optimized for the platform for the longest time with no issues. And when Apple decides to make some updates to the models that goes into a new software updates, you will have the update as well. So, you know, uh, no need to think about, oh yeah, that model has been updated and so on. So that's a good thing. At least for me, that is a good thing. Um, but yeah, like that's a simple thing. I want to learn how to do that. um, there is, if you haven't already, there is the whole the thing that I shared on Discord, and I was on it a second ago. This one, which is the introduction to Swift UI, is pretty good. But then they also have a ton of other videos, including some of them that are related to not necessarily the live streams, because these ones are kind of more complex to follow through. Like they are like hours at times. Um, but some of the WWDC things, the foundation model one is pretty neat. The other one that we have is where, as always, I remember the girl that is talking about it, and now I can't find her. God damn it. Uh, mm, mm. So there is the foundation model here, which we do like, and that's the one. These videos overall are gonna be pretty useful for you to just go through like the whole system and understanding um like what works, what doesn't work, and so on. So that good. Um, this is the design foundation. This is not the one that I'm looking for. My bad. I'm looking for the foundation model and element integration that popped off before we launched the liquid glass thing. So that was like 2024, 2025. Nonetheless, there is like a video in there that you might probably find somewhere that is talking about the foundation model and how to use it and how to properly create the prompt. It is a bit dated compared to what we can do now, but it is also pretty useful. So yeah. Um, I think, um, yeah, I know, but the thing when I'm saying it's a bit dated, I mean it has the foundation model has updated and evolved so fast in the past 2 years, 2 to 3 years, that it's not like an Objective C thing. It's just it's still a SwiftUI/UIKit thing, but logical is kind of different. I know that Sean has done one. As far as I remember, we have uh, we have one. Well, he wanted to do one and maybe he talked about it and then didn't release it just yet. Mm, mm. Apparently, he didn't release it just yet. Nonetheless, that doesn't change the fact that if you are learning and interested in learning SwiftUI, Sean is pretty good with everything. You will have like um, overall understanding of what you can do and how you can do it. And most of the videos are pretty fast enough and like the content is good enough to make sure that you understand and you can go through the whole system. So I do like Sean a lot. There is a video that is not published. Maybe he removed it. Um, but yeah, that's the thing that I can recommend. As a check, there is the other one that we talked about before, which I think I have in the reading list right here. That whole website has a ton of articles as well for learning. And so if you are interested, highly recommend that. Highly recommend that you take a look. Some of them are not as useful as you think, but a lot of them are pretty good. So yeah, we like it. But you know, overall, the Apple model is not good enough yet to do most of the tasks that you want. And then going back to, I currently don't have the information. That's broken and weird. I currently don't have the information on exactly what you have in mind for the app itself, for the understanding and uh, like that. I'm guessing from your last message, your guided reflection is the thing that is not going through the prompt properly. Um, and your free journaling is, you know, that's working, but then you have a bit of an issue with the recap, I'm guessing. So yeah, that's depending depending on the goal, there will be like other things that need to happen to make sure that the content makes sense and that the output makes sense and that the LLM on device is following through. But overall, yeah. Um, That's the thing. So from what I understood, in order for the on-device LLM to be relevant, it is basically working pretty well for one question task, as in, oh, I need to do this thing, and that's it, and nothing else. And then the memory of that task is vanishing almost instantly. So you don't really have the train of thoughts slash conversation red line to follow inside of the LLM, which is kind of bad. And that's basically why I'm saying if you can not doing what you're trying to do, going through the Hugging Face models and using one of the Hugging Face models directly might be a better option. to have that on device and just run that properly. But yeah, the I had success on Quen and the integration of Quen, and then there is like a ton of these that have popped. I mean, not necessarily this one, but like basically, um, this one is just it's free. We like that. Um, but these things exist, and therefore you have the ability to just go there, figure out how it's built, and do the same thing, like reduplicate that. So there is like a ton of them. You will probably find a ton of them on GitHub as well. And if you're looking for um, no, no. If you're looking for search engines, overall DeepSeek is pretty good for that. So I'm looking for boilerplate on device, AI chat, LLM based app on GitHub that I can use for my own project. It's I don't know exactly how they did that, but DeepSeek by default is pretty good at doing a search. And then I forgot to do something. I should not have done that. I should have said this specific for iOS. That's the thing. Because the iOS version is very much different than the Android version. And there will be like a ton of already existing GitHubs in there that you just you can use. um, but yeah, so basically right now they're telling you Altlink, which is fine. Um, that's an interesting one as well. I do remember that. This one is a bit of a different thing. And then there was another thing that I do remember. Silo. Is that Silo? Is it Silo? Might be. It might be. One of the things that is also interesting, I'm seeing like some Chinese character right there, which is probably a good thing. The Chinese models, even though probably scary for some people, are a lot lightweight, a lot more lightweight than the other ones. So, you know. Um, but yeah, no, there is like a ton of options for you to just go through and get like a foundation model base to see how it has been implemented. Use that as a reference layer for your uh, outputs. And this one is not. I mean, foundation chat is a bit of a different thing, but it works as well. Kind of the same here. Um, but yeah, I know that there is like a free version that lets you download whatever model you want from Hugging Face directly as soon as you have your API key linked or your access token link. And yeah, like that would be a very good thing for you in terms of experimentation with the available models because you can just download them on your phone um, and then be done. And then be done. So yeah, Silo is another one that I do remember uh, having a look at it. But yeah, good to check. That's the main thing. Every time DeepSeek is good for research. You can do a research thing as well on the other platforms, but you will have like some of the best outputs so that you can just check and say and see if something works, doesn't work, and so on. But yeah, um, in the thing that I said last time, uh, in my head, I have a feeling that most of your understanding of what you have said on the journaling could be simply with the native NLP, so the natural language processing engine that is on device since iOS 12, iOS 11. That could be enough for you to go through. Um, so maybe do that instead of having like an AI stuff that is like the native iOS models that are kind of slow and not cooperating with what you're trying to see. But if you want to have like a conversation, like a psychologist, um, interactions for your journaling thing, then yeah, use it on other things. Um, yes, also, Kira, 100%. They are not using the thing that we are using. And at some point, um, bitch, I did a bit of a research. Uh, uh, I did a lot of multilingual on-device things. There was, yeah, dang. That chat was an interesting one as well, where basically I was looking for decentralizing the US um, from the tech. So looking for Chinese related alternatives to see if it would work. And all of the most of the things are Tencent and Alibaba content. The only issue with that is that you have a proper infrastructure around Asia, but not really outside of Asia. So it's a bit more complex, but yeah. Um, and that whole chat was mainly on decentering the US from the tech that I'm using to find like alternatives and so on, but like kind of complex. It is. I agree with that. I agree with that. And they also they became so big so fast. Like I have a feeling that 20 years ago, 15 years ago, I had never heard of Tencent. Like it existed, but it wasn't a thing that people were about, like aware that it existed. And now it's like if you don't know that it exists, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. But yeah, I feel like it's also mostly gaming related, for my understanding of Tencent compared to everything that they do. So yeah. Um, oh, so I'm dying right now. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. I know why. Don't worry. I just die on stream. It's gonna be fine. It's for the views. It's for the views. But yeah, no, all of these things have been pretty interesting as well, for hosting, for like services, CDN, and so on. Um, right now, I don't know. Heart failure, probably. Not as fun because it's kind of instant. Um, but you know, that was a fun chat as well, or research related thing to make sure that I had like more information. Uh, Okay, I like that. I don't like the placement. So that's good-ish. Let's let's place them on the same line as the icon and add 1 rem of additional padding on the right side to push them more inside of the card. It's weird. That's a weird sentence. Um, but yeah, nonetheless, the as I mentioned in the TikTok video that you commented on, most of the thing that you can use, or most of the tech that we have right now, we all know as part of that community of devs and designers on the internet that self-hosting is an option. And we all know that self-hosting is the cheapest option for the services that you want, specifically when the thing in question is supposed to be like not used by millions of people, but just used. Um, that is basically what could be a good thing where you basically self-host on your own device, like on your iPhone, on your Mac, on your whatever. That's the thing. Um, One of the things that you will struggle with, probably, if not done well from the start, and you may have done that well already, I don't know, um, is the core data slash Swift data in order to save your past chats and be able to retrieve them and have like the memory and so on. You need this thing to be as tight as possible in order to like make sense and be stable for the longest time. Because right now, for example, I am encountering things where my database system on device is as broken as it could be, and so it's harder for me to just make it work rather than start again from scratch on that database thing. So if you can do that from the start, good. Um, that's wild. Is QQ Tencent thing? Sorry. Uh, uh, yeah, from experience, and I think you have the same experience, the database and the data layer in general is going to be requiring a ton of setup. Um, oh yeah, so QQ is Tencent in the background. That's crazy. That's crazy. I think I still have my QQ account somewhere. I just don't log in there. Um, I feel like it's the same thing as PayPay um, for Japan, where the entirety like of the system of PayPay is including so much, and now it's a bit of a like comparison with Line being such a Weibo alternative slash QQ alternative where you have everything in there. So Line from outside of the world, it's mostly like a chat app, but then it does the news, the payment, your bank, your phone, I mean, news, music, messenger, chat, live, wallets, everything. So yeah, it's like Line Manga is also a thing where you can just have your manga on your phone or your tablet or whatever, or of your points, or of your friends, or of your gift cards, or of like your tradings. Yay! It's crazy. Uh, some games as well. I didn't know about the games, but like it's just all right. Um, and most of the people that are using Line are complaining about it because it's like filled with ads. And because my version of Line have been downloaded from the French App Store, I only have the messaging um, section. I don't have the rest, and therefore I'm kind of safe. I have no ads, so I'm pretty happy with it. But also, I don't have all of the wallets as the option, so that's kind of sad. But yeah, the Line part-time job as a fucking website app thingy like that. It's crazy. It's crazy. You can have all day. Also, these are crazy. 2,000 yen an hour, or up to 2,000 yen an hour is. Huh? It's like $10 $10 an hour. Golly. Also, if that's going down, that's good. That's good. That's so good. uh, It's fun for me every time because the first time I went in Japan, I was around here, like 2019, and so the yen was roughly like 100 to 1. So conversion in my head was really easy. And then since COVID, it's just been up and up and up and up. Ah, yeah. Like at that time, 2,000 yen was roughly $20, 18. And now it's like 10, so it's half the price. So everything that I get there is nothing. It is nothing. Really sad, really bad. Really bad. Anyways, that was the Line department. They have so much shit going on that, yeah, we can deal with that. We can deal with that. That's what's happening. I fear this. I fear this, but it's time. So we'll see. I take the meds, to not die. But because I'm dying right now, and I'm already tired, this is gonna shorten the stream for sure. For sure, no questions. All right, most of the things are pretty good. Here I feel like obviously there is a ton of things that could be changed in order to make this a bit better, but um, yeah. Cool. Let me just send that. Hope for the best. Also, I don't know why we have the fucking layout addition. Oh, it's for Dane. I see. All right, cool, 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 cool. Cool. Um, that's published. That's a bad move. It is a bad move. At least we have all the things. On top of that, where is my brain going? On the PayPay stuff? I feel like Japan is hanging on three companies. Um, like that's in my, from an external point of view, that's what I see. We have Line that we were on a second ago. Um, we have the Yahoo Japan that is still extremely, like everything is Yahoo related, which is kind of crazy. And then you have all of the uh, PayPay related stuff. And I would say the last one, even though not as um powerful, but also kinda, is the SoftBank everything, because SoftBank is also like pretty on everything with the phone, internet, energy, energy being like gas and electricity, and then business and the other stuff that they don't really talk about here. These are like basically the three things. They also, there's something about Asian companies that are doing a very specific thing that I don't necessarily see around here. And that's the fact that like SoftBank is the main company, but then it has so many sub stuff. So for the mobile, for example, you have SoftBank Mobile, but you also have Y Mobile. You also have another one that is like, I think some of the Line Mobile is also included behind SoftBank and Docomo as the two platforms and two bank like massive brand behind uh, the mobile services and so on. So it's just, it's interesting. It's the same thing as for me, all of the Xiaomi sub brands charts that would be like pretty interesting. I don't think this is going to be just the phones and not necessarily the soft um, yeah. That, even though here we don't have everything, but if you go in China, the probability of something that you're buying from China being from Xiaomi, even if it's a different name, uh, is a very probable thing. So all of these things are kind of phones related and house related. Um, these ones are mostly phones, but same thing for the BBK. And it's just, it's crazy the amount of people that don't really know about all of that. Like my robot vacuums are from Xiaomi, but it's Roborock, and people are recognizing Roborock as a standalone brand, as if it was different. But no, it's the same thing, and they're doing all of these fridges and phones and stuff, and it's crazy. Anyways, I don't know. Okay, so I feel like this is okay. It kind of works. We have the things. It's working. It does its job. Let's see how it looks and how it's performing. I doubt it performs well, but we never know until we try. So I feel 80 something, 76, 76. 97. God damn. Isn't that good? That's neat. I fear, however, um, that this is gonna be such a pain in the ass. Earlier, it fully broke, so I'm expecting this to not work whatsoever. This is gonna be 50, everything in the orange, if not red, for sure. Yep. All right, cool. Um, and then lastly, the profile itself. Run that. Had a very hard time earlier, so yeah, this one is not gonna go through based on how long it takes. There's something that's blocking the paint, and I don't know what it is. Also, I don't think we can get 100 on everything based on the current content that we have around here. So, yeah. Red on everything. Let me just refresh that and try again. I think the preview here is going to be fine-ish. For me, if it launch and it's accessible, I'm kind of fine with it. So that's the thing. Yeah, that's crazy. I know why, but that's crazy though. Yeah, they ain't. That's the reason. Not really, but yes. But not really, but yes. Okay, so that's good. Kinda. Well, technically it's supposed to be compressed automatically by Next.js, but apparently it doesn't do the job that I have asked it to do. So that's one of the sad part. There is a need for Minify.js and compress it. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Something that runs like the version of FFmpeg that Stony is using, and just compress stuff. I mean, technically, the best option is compress stuff for a name. Like if you can get compress.it, so compress it, or minify.it for an Italian website, it could be a very cool thing. Compress it is pretty cool. Compress it is interesting. But yeah, that's a point. Give me a second. I need to pee again. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that it's already taken. The amount of people that are domain sitting is crazy. The amount of people are just decided to buy a domain at some point in their lives and say, well, I'm gonna sit on that until this is gonna be useful. Like, I feel like the day that um, .ai popped off as an option, the amount of people that probably like are domain sitting and waiting um, for domain TLDs to happen and say, oh fuck, chat.ai is something that we need to have. And just, yeah, got it, bought it for 10 years, and then just waited for a big ass company to say, oh, you know what, we're gonna buy that from you. Like it's the same thing as Threads. Threads.com was a very nice uh, Slack alternative, and then it died. Yeah, I don't think that will happen. Unless, eh, maybe not. uh, Threads got acquired by Shopify. I didn't know that. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought it was closed by Threads, meaning Facebook got the thing, but no. Hmm. Hmm. Maybe. Maybe that could happen. Um, I think I'm most of the time too late for the things, but I have a good sense of naming for brands, not brands, but like products and apps and so on. Something that makes sense for what we're trying to achieve is easier for me, and therefore when I'm trying to figure out the TLDs and the domain name, it's faster. But yeah. Um, yeah, same, same. Wow, that hurts so bad. I think it's like ribs related and heart related at the same time, but probably like uh, not liver, but something else. I don't know. It's kind of wild. It is kind of wild. It's not really a hit. It's mostly uh, like pressure, which is kind of, it depends on the day and depends what I ate on that specific day or didn't eat. Like today, I didn't really eat much, so that's a reason. It's fine. It is fine. But yeah, overall, that's that's the thing. Um, Interesting that I just saw that a second ago. That's one of the ideas I had, having like that gradient things for the bar there was also an option. But I don't know. Yeah, there's something about that charts that makes me happier than what we have now. Going back there. Um, Dang. That looks way better than what we currently have. But it took so much more space and it has so much more information that I don't think um, it's worth bringing back. But it's interesting, nonetheless. Nonetheless, extract interesting. Hmm. Meh. We'll see. We will see. I really don't know exactly what is bothering me so much about the landing page, other than the fact that I don't like building and working on landing pages, and therefore I don't have the skills to do so. But there's still something that is bothering me about the content. It's either the size of things or the presentation of things that just doesn't work. Um, just missing something. Like the probability of people understanding that this is playable, usable, that people can just interact with it, even if it's like stated interactive builder, which makes absolutely no sense. It might benefit from one of these. It might highly benefit from one of these arrows um, like that just state you can play with it. Which, by the way, I need to change that. I'm gonna do that right now. I'm gonna do that right now. Is that the copy of the thing? No, that's the right one. And you will see why we like Framer most of the times. Because that's just gonna be faster, unless my internet is gonna die, as always. I haven't touched this fucking thing in days. Also, this is just a matter of changing the same amount of letters. Um, but yeah. Ta-da! That is so much better. But yeah, having something like this would be probably a good option. Oh, I did that, but I didn't do the thing in question. God damn it. Let me just not be a dumbass for 1 second. I don't know why my brain today is just not working. Because I didn't eat. Yes, that's a reason. That's a good reason. If it's taking as long, I'm gonna be pissed. It doesn't. Oh, it isn't. So this one specifically, that badge is supposed to go to ban. My bad. My bad. But yeah, that's so much faster and so much better overall to get access to your fucking thing and upload the right data. Yeah, that's working. That's working. Cool. Updated. But yeah, I might have to do that. I feel like getting that section here with some sort of a an arrow on the edge, or maybe something around here to just showcase that you can do that. I'm thinking, um, who did that? I'm thinking Zachary has something similar with the coffee stain here, and it might be like a similar vibe to get the arrow to get in and showcase that this thing is an editable element. So yeah. Nonetheless, on the interactive feature grid right there, we want to change that's not the section, right? It is the section. It is the section. It is not the section. Where is that thing? Basically, what I'm looking for right now is the fucking interactive builder section. That's the thing that I want to see in here. But we don't have it. That div by there is not good. Not good? Sorry. What did I remove? I removed the layout. Is that what I did? That's working. That's working. But then the scroll reveal is supposed to be containing nothing. So when I'm doing this, now it's gone. Or it's gone just when I not there. That's the thing. Because we are using eyebrows on everything, and that makes no sense design-wise. So just want to make sure that we don't have too much stuff when it comes to this, because it doesn't help. And it's the same thing for the other ones. So like this one having an eyebrow makes a lot of sense, but then you don't need the bottom non-eyebrow thing. So removing this is an option. I'm gonna just use that. In the interactive grid section, we want to add organic arrow. I guess I'm going to call that this way. On the side of the grid to hint that it is usable. I don't think it will understand what I mean by organic arrow, but we can check. We can check. Maybe it will. Maybe it will figure it out. It does recognize that an organic arrow would typically be a curved path SVG, so maybe. If it create a curved path at SVG thing that is just on the side, like that, like, not there, but yeah, that's really bad. I might just create an SVG on my own instead, but at least I have the position relative and so on that is pretty okay. So let's just revert that. Let's just not, and let's see if I can get that. I don't know if I have made a portfolio page for myself. Yeah, that's not me. That is not me. I don't think I have my own portfolio as a thing here. So can use that. We can use that. That's a bit of a similar base. So what we want to have is simple. We want to get something that is either going like that or like that. I feel like this is an easier thing to do. So if we want to do this, that, that thing needs to be equal on both sides. Same thing here. In order to make it better, we can put that somewhere here. We can put that a bit higher, and then this thing at the end is supposed to take the arrow shape. So we want that to be that fat, that to be rounded, and probably white for now, but we will see. We will see what we want to do. And then that can be a bit more at the bottom. Right now, what I'm trying to achieve is roughly get these two lines to be with the same angle, so that, I mean, technically for you, it's going to be there, so that we have like a direction that is coming from the top to the bottom in the same kind of swoop, and then there is this loop in the center that doesn't really change anything. So that's the idea. It could benefit from getting like a tad more flat or a tad more runway prior to achieving that, so that you have like a bit more flatter link. That's a pretty good thing. If I then just do that, like something like this kind of makes sense in order to understand where you need to go. So basically my line of sight for this thing is gonna be somewhere along the line of that. You want to make sure that it's like in that curve. I mean, want to make sure, you don't need to, but it's like kind of better. So that's the thing. That's fine. And we want to place that on the left side of the grid. So let's see if I can copy that as an SVG directly from here, that we have it. And so we want to on the side of the grid, on the left side of the grid, it's visible. Tryout thingy. Here is the SVG. And hope for the best. Really bad behavior, but it works. Oh, that's sad. We'll see if it places it properly. I have doubts. Specifically, I have doubts on the text that's going to be added. But then I can see how many points there is on that SVG path, which is probably going to break. That is probably going to break stuff. Yeah. I need to be closer to the grid. The left. Almost touching, but not quite. See, that's a lot. With what I just said, it might understand what I'm trying to say of the grid itself needs to have, yeah, not that. That's wrong. So it didn't. It need to be inside the interactive feature grid in absolute positioning. order to work. So that whole thing, basically all of that needs to be inside of this thing, somewhere in the HTML around there. All right. Like basically I want it to be placed somewhere around here. And so it has a negative offset on the side of this so that it ends up somewhere around there. That's the plan. That's the plan. So that addition with the position relative with a I don't remember what that is. Very classical text from me. Just move it to the right a bit. We'll see if that works. I don't think it will work. Left 12, top 16. Left 12, top 16 is what we just changed. Everything else is the same. Interesting. So if I do left 16, is this gonna work? Left 24? If I do left 40 just for the sake of checking it, that's true. Cool. So if that left 40 is too close, if I do 32 and then my top 24, it's probably going to be closer to what we want to have. And yeah. Does it work in both sides? So for the flashbang on this one, if you're not ready yourself. Cool. That's fine. I can deal with that. I can deal with that. Great. You got a warning. It was a short warning, I know. But you got a warning. Basically, if you remember, you probably don't. You probably don't remember. If you're a designer, you probably just don't know about these. But a long time ago, we used to create mockups for desk, and we had shit like this, where we as designer were creating elements that could be added to a desk, and then we could scatter things around basically like this. What I'm trying to achieve right now is basically having the grid in the center and then the options on the side with the try it out and so on for something that looks more natural, more organic. So similar to what Zachary is doing right here with the grid in the background, which is very subtle but really nice grid. And then some of the tiny things here and there, the pen right there, the stickers, the tape, and so on. That is what I'm trying to potentially recreate in that section to make it a bit more interesting. But I don't want to overload it with everything. So simplifying is probably going to be good. With just the arrows and potentially something else, but like not much. That's tiny though. That is tiny. Get that? Mm. Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's an okay-ish thing. You can just play with it for now. Small addition. There will be a need for more particles later, but like for now, that's going to be fine enough. And it doesn't fly with. So basically, when you're here and you're flying through and you see your things come in, you have to try it on the side, and then you can understand that this is tryable, editable, changeable, and so on. That's, you know, cool. Neat. Simple. It works. It's not necessarily the most contrasty thing, but it's still like eye-catching. I mean, the thing that I don't like is the fact that try it yourself is here, and then we have that there. So maybe there is something to be said for this. One second. Something like this potentially, with like a bit of a rotation on this one, and then let's say you have on the other side of the grid, you may have dang. We're gonna keep the 15 degrees. Right, so we have the drag, resize, and delete. That could be interesting as well for the understanding, because you have like your very simple, very basic, like so, in the center. I think that's interesting. I think that's not a bad idea. So as always, really quick ass screenshot, adding the things, and then maybe we could add the if I can type, maybe we could add the 3 actions on the other side, like this, or fun full layout. I don't know if it's going to recognize that the text have angles, probably, but we never know. So we'll see. Yes, light relation to match the organic fill is true. I feel like that's what's missing, or what is currently missing, at least for me. Because that way, once that's done, I can remove the text above. So try it yourself. Like that span, for example, is gonna get the fuck out because we don't need it. But if we have that could be an option. That is shit, but that is fine. I feel like we can live with that. We can live with that. Okay, so we need to use our handwritten font, which is Valville. What's its name? What's the name of this? Caveat. We need to use the caveat font for this. Our caveat font for these, and make everything a tad bit bigger. And then I'll see how I can organize them to make sense. Yeah, I don't think this is a good idea, but we'll see. We will see. That -8 is not good. That works. That works. Not ideal, but it works. I also don't really know if it's a good idea to load that font specifically just for this use case specifically, and that's it, and nothing else. That's a bit of a weird thing to do, but you know, it's fine. Everything needs to be lower though. We need to center it instead. So the Y displacement that we have from earlier, top 16 here, is supposed to change. That's way too high. Way too high. It's a top 48, I'm guessing. And then here, same thing. We want this to be top 32 because we have something that is taller in total. And then we know that the right side need to be like further in, so probably 8. And this one we can also have it 8 so that it's kind of tighter on both sides. This size could be a 48 to be centered. Could even make it 40 to make more sense. And then I feel like my text Yeah, could benefit from that, for sure. Then I don't think spaces, if I don't remember if I add spaces in front or next to um, elements, it's gonna do something. So I'm gonna see if I can just add some left right there, just in case. I can't. But that's better. Nonetheless, that is already a bit better um, than what we had earlier. It's a bit more fun, and it doesn't really exist until you reach this. And then the try it out, drag, and so on has been removed. So that's pretty good. We can move things around. It doesn't really interact with these things. The reset is still working. The mobile switch is working, even though that kind of could be tighter, but it's the same ID and content. And that kind of jiggly, shaky thing is kind of weird, but I get it. I get it. Um, but that's better. I do think that the font itself, I still don't understand why I'm doing this every time. Um, Google, let's see if we can get caveat and see if it has like multiple variation. It does have a bold of 700, so we could use the bolder version of it to make that work. Um, so we want to use bold 700 for these because I don't know where it's loaded. I'm gonna add only. We want to only use bold 700 for these three. For text lines, that would be better. Maybe it will do its job on this one. It did. Cool. I feel like the color of the try it and the color of the drag are not the same. So that might just be me. No. Yeah, these ones are 40 and this one is 50. So I'm just gonna 40 this one as well. So they are all the same. And we have everything in the same place. Everything is the same style and so on. The best thing would be to be able to move the fucking text to be centered with the tail of the arrow, but I have a feeling that this is not going to be an option. So I'm not going to attempt. I am not going to attempt. Unless I'm just doing this. As far as I remember, I do kind of remember that this, doing a minus left 8 is probably... What happened if I do a minus 80? Nothing. Cool. That's what I thought. Yeah, no, I'm pretty fine with that. I'm pretty fine with that. Mobile wise though, I don't think that's gonna be good or bad. Yeah, these things don't appear on mobile, which is good. That's exactly what we wanted. So, yeah. I wish that glitch wasn't happening, but it does. So, here we are. Cool. I guess that's better. It's kind of sad that we're loading that many fonts on the landing page specifically, or specifically at the root level, because that's not necessary, but I get it. Uh, mm, mm. Yeah, it's just one font though. That's the thing that is kind of sad. Eh, we'll see. Anyways, I am actually dying right now, so I'm gonna find someone to raid and send you there, because everything is all over the place, and that's not appreciated. Apparently, Finite just started. Props is live, and Props is probably gonna remain live for a bit. So let's do that. Let's do that. It makes sense. It makes sense. Anyways, I am dying. So that's good. As always, if you have a question, feel free to join the Discord to get there and ask the question there. If you are looking for a link in bio thing, use that. It's pretty cool. If you have a perfume collection, use perfume. As always, if you're learning Japanese, can is pretty cool. And I didn't forget to change the number right here. So that's good. That's a good thing for today. Um, but I will be back on Friday unless I'm dead today, which is an option as well. We'll see. It might happen. But yeah, take care of yourself. Eat something, drink something, be kind to each other. And I will see you all on the next one, I guess. Yeah. I'm gonna die and then come back later. We're gonna see. Bye.